Hi, hello, my friends. It's Christy with 4am Junk Journals. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to an Investigate with me. I'm going to tell y'all we are going to try to do this all in one shot, with little to no editing. Um, I come to you a little bit unprepared this morning, and I'll tell you why. Um, I'm a little embarrassed to tell you, but I'll tell you. It took My craft room is so bad. It took my husband and I together 2 hours yesterday to find my case books. And then I couldn't find my camera. And it took another half an hour to find my camera. I think I need to do clean the craft room is what I think I need to do. Okay, for those of you who have been around, you know this is my casebook. I super love my casebook. But the last few weeks, I just have not been feeling up to working in this casebook. A couple of weeks ago, we did where we just kind of sorted images. And then last week, I started this casebook, which is a more whimsical, fun, crazy version of my casebook, right? So it's got very exaggerated characters, and it's just kind of for fun. I'm gonna finish both case books, even if it's like long after the case concludes. But I just feel like working on this one today. So I hope that's okay with y'all. But that's what I feel like doing. So if you guys remember, I was working week by week in this one instead of doing it in sections like the other one. And so I was still working on week one. I said at the end of last video that I was going to keep working on it, but that did not happen. So yeah, we're picking up where we left off. And we're going to talk about the case. And oh my goodness, there's such crazy stuff happening. Okay. You guys know that last time I had some stuff already cut out. I think I did, but I can't find it. It's lost somewhere in the craft room as well. So I had to reprint, and we're just going to go with it. Um, whew, goodness. So I'm not going to talk a lot about what I'm doing. You guys can just kind of see what I'm doing. I will show you a few images real quick though before we get started on talking about the case. So this one's already in here, right? And these are from week one. And then these are my P. Ashcroft images. So this is our police investigator, Philomene Ashcroft. And these are the images I created of her. And then this is our victim, Vanessa Hammond, otherwise known as Vivian Cross, right? We just discovered that. This is Claire Donnelly. She was a friend of Vanessa's or Dr. Hammond's, and she was the one who actually found the body. This is an image of her finding the body. We're going to use this one today. These are some EMT images, just for funs. We're going to use those today. I don't know why I did this. I did another page with P. Ashcroft and Vanessa Hammond on it. You can see here she had darker hair, and here I'd asked ChatGPT to make her hair more auburn. And so, yeah, I've got both versions of her. And then there's Claire again. Now, this is a full page of her finding the body, and we're probably going to use that one, actually. And these are some images of a file cabinet, which I might use. I've already, I think, used those, but I'll hold on to them just in case. No, I don't think I've used that one yet. This is Margaret Hale, the school counselor. This is Andrew Bell, who is the maintenance guy, or the facilities guy. Now this is, oh, pardon me, it's very early in the morning. And this is B. Langford, who was the student who left the article and note on Professor Hammond's desk. Okay. So fun images to play with, and I'm just going to get started. And I'm, like I said, I'm not going to talk to you about what I'm doing here. I'm just going to talk to you about the case, and you can pretty much see what I'm doing. Oh, I did already use that one. See, I already used that one. Okay, crazy, whatever. Um, oh, excuse me, I am so sorry. Oh, man, I might should have stayed in bed. Okay, so where are we in this case, guys? It is absolutely nuts, right? So we found out, I think it was last week, we had talked about um, seeing footage of Dr. Herman Vale, outside of Vanessa Hammond's office. Um, we questioned him about that and discovered a few things. So he said, first of all, he knew that Dr. Hammond was Vivian Cross. At that time, we couldn't confirm that she was Vivian Cross. That was just what he said his impression was, um, or what he believed, or whatever. Anyway, um, at that point, we could not confirm it. So I'm going to put that there. Um, but since then, oh, well, let's finish up with him first. Um, he was able to give us some background on the story of the mall bombing and kind of Vivian's role in that. And I don't remember what all, but he was able to give us some background information, right? And so, and to tell us that, the which we kind of already knew, that Crafts Point Legal Advocacy Center had closed, right? And apparently they closed their doors in direct response to the backlash from the Benjamin Lyons case, which led to the Iron Falls mall bombing. Anyway, so he was able to give us quite a bit of information. And like I said, he told us that he believed he had found that same article um, years before, had recognized Dr. Hammond, and believed that she was Vivian Cross. But he said they never really talked about it, and he didn't, she never confirmed it. He never questioned her, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I think I'm going to do that right there. And then I can still write in here. Um, but that at some point they just both seemed to know that he knew, right? They just seemed to accept that he knew. Where is my glue? Oh, right there in front of me. Um, so, and he told us that, because we asked him, why were you hanging outside her office, whatever. And he said that he had gone there to invite her to a conference, and that he had seen B. Langford in her office. And so or enter her office, or whatever. So he was waiting. And then when B came out, he went in, and when he saw that Professor Hammond was not there, he was going to leave a message for her or something. I can't remember exactly what he said, but then he saw the article on the desk, and it worried him. And so he left her a note. He says he left her a note that said, "Be careful." And presumably when he left the office, everything was, kind of, oh man, have I been off camera all this time? I hope not. Presumably, when he left the office, everything was kind of where it needed to be as far as the note and all of that. However, when we found the partially shredded article and the with B's note, nothing was said about finding a note from Dr. Vale. Presumably, that note was not there, right? So that kind of makes us wonder, kind of, where is that note in this situation? What happened to it, right? Um, so, um, then, I'm sorry, I'm so distracted. So then, Headmistress Whitmore woke up, Eleanor Whitmore, and we were able to have an interview with her, right? And she told us that she knew. She and Dr. Hammond had actually not spoken about it when Dr. Hammond was hired. And Dr. Whitmore, or Headmistress Whitmore, always knew that Dr. Hammond was actually Vivian Cross. So this was not a surprise at all to her. She said that Dr. Hammond had asked her to keep it between them, to keep the secret, and that she felt like that was appropriate. And so, and so she always knew, right? I don't like it. Um, so that confirmed the identity. That confirmed for us that yes, uh, Vanessa Hammond and Vivian Cross were one and the same. Now, unless we think we have some reason to not believe Headmistress Whitmore, which at this point we do not seem to have any reason to not believe her. So then, at the end of last week's update video, um, after we had spoken with Headmistress Whitmore, we found out that there was a because I can't find my little scissors and it makes it so hard to cut stuff out. We found out that there was an image or a picture or something of mourners, the family members and mourners from the Iron Falls Mall bombing, where hundreds of people died. And amongst that crowd in the image, we recognized a face from the case. And at first, we did not know who that was. But a couple of days ago, there was a news bulletin, and we found out that the person in the picture was in fact Margaret Hale, and Margaret Hale had lost both her husband and her 6-year-old daughter in the bombing. So now we have a person directly connected to that bombing and to Vivian Cross. Now, that doesn't mean that she is the person we're looking for, but it does mean that there's a little bit more motive for her than we had in the past. And right now, honestly, she's the only person I see with a true motive. Have you guys come up with a motive for anyone else? I don't know. I don't know. What do y'all think? Um, Now, of course, it's all well and good that she was in the picture. She has a clear motive, but there's motive does not equal proof, right? So we don't know, just because she had a motive doesn't mean that she did the thing, right? Um, Now, there have been a lot of questions about, like, are we sure Benjamin Lyons is dead? And yes, he was confirmed dead. His remains were found. Um, there have been not enough questions, guys. I'm not seeing enough from y'all. Um, I've been trying really hard to make sure I'm answering them. So if I've missed your question, please let me know. I'm trying to stay on top of it. Um, but I'm just not seeing a lot of interaction, which is concerning, because how do we solve a case if we don't have the interaction? I really hope I've been in frame. Oh my goodness, I have a feeling I have not been in frame this whole time. Which is okay, because mostly what you guys are here for is to talk through this rather than to watch me. But, it's kind of boring to just sit and watch a video where there's literally nothing except a desktop. I'm really sorry if I wasn't in frame. Anyway, so I've kind of rehashed where we're at. And now let's talk about kind of, what does it all mean? So again, we now know she has a motive. We know that Margaret Hale has a motive. Do we know of anyone else who has a motive? Okay, well, we're going to assume, or I'm going to assume, maybe we should never assume, but I would think that if Eleanor Whitmore had a motive that was related to the bombing, she's known about it for a long time, or she says she has, right? So waiting, 7 years would seem a little strange. Now, again, that's what she told us. We don't really have any corroborating evidence that she knew all along. It's just what she told us. I'm going to wind up cutting her head off with these big scissors. Dang it, I don't know where my little ones are. Hold on 1 second. Got some other little ones. I just really hate these. Anyway. So we would assume, or I would assume, that if she had some, connection to the case that was going to cause her to want to kill this person, that she would not wait 7 years to make that happen, right? Probably wouldn't have hired her in the first place. But that's just my thought. I don't know. Maybe she would have hired her to get her close to her. But I still can't imagine her waiting 7 years. So in my mind, I don't see that as a motive for the headmistress. Now that doesn't mean there isn't another motive, um, but I don't see that one as one. It is possible that she found out that B had found that article and she was worried that it was going to be exposed and was going to cause problems for the school. And then she might have decided to, which would explain the article being shredded, right? Okay, so that's Eleanor Whitmore. Now let's talk about Andrew Bell, right? Do we see any clear motive for Andrew Bell to have murdered Vanessa Hammond? And I don't see anything. He's kind of been a sideline character. I mean, he hasn't really come up much at all. Answered a few questions, and that's pretty much the extent of his place in this. Um, but what if he had a motive? What if he also lost someone in the mall bombing? What if he had a thing for Dr. Hammond and she rejected him? Like there are so many what ifs. Or what if he was working with someone else um, who had a motive? Just because we don't know right off the bat what his motive is, doesn't mean that he didn't have one. Also doesn't mean he did. I don't know, guys. What do y'all think about Andrew Bell? Then we've got Claire Donnelly. Oh my goodness. I have been so suspicious about poor little Claire. Poor little Claire. Actually, I still think Claire is kind of a weird character, but I have to admit that having learned about her background and the death of her fiance or whatever, I could have been wrong about Claire, right? I could have been wrong. Um, I'm not saying I was wrong because heaven knows I don't want to admit when I'm wrong. No, I'm kidding. I'm not saying I was wrong. I'm just saying that um, I feel like um, her story made her make more sense, right? And I think I talked about this in last week's video as well, in last week's Investigate With Me, that I can kind of see everything that happened with her, like the 6 minute window where she didn't call anybody and kind of freezing up and not going in to check on her and all of that. It makes more sense given her background than it did previously. So I can actually kind of give her some sympathy there and accept that that could have been um, related to her trauma. So, but it doesn't change the fact that Claire has found not one body, but now two that were intimately related to her, one being her fiance and one being one of her best friends, she says, and at a school, murdered in the office or the classroom. Um, it's just kind of strange. I don't know how many, it could be complete coincidence, but I just think it's so strange. I don't know. On the other hand, she was completely exonerated in the Silas Carlisle murder, and years ago, and we have no reason whatsoever to believe that um, she, I mean, we have no evidence indicating that she was involved in Dr. Hammond's murder. So, giving poor little Claire the benefit of the doubt, um, I can assume, again, assuming is so dangerous. I am choosing to believe that Claire was probably not actually involved, although I say that with so much hesitation because I'm just not convinced. I'm not convinced. I want to be convinced, but I'm just not convinced. What do y'all think? Then who else haven't we talked about? Okay, so we talked about Eleanor Whitmore. We talked about Andrew Bell. We talked about Claire Donnelly. That brings us to Herman Vale. And Herman, I truly believe, was probably the only true friend that Vanessa had at the academy. I think that he really cared about her. And in spite of their, or maybe because of their academic and professional, like, what's the word I want? Disagreements is not the right word. But, anyway, because they kind of worked off of each other the way they did, and they responded to each other the way that they did. I think that they truly had a closeness that I didn't see at first, right? At first, I thought they didn't like each other very much, but now I'm thinking maybe there really was a closeness there, maybe not a romantic closeness. He insists there wasn't, but some sort of a kinship or friendship that went pretty deep, right? So he says he cares about her a great deal. He says that he saw a clear danger to her with that article. He says he knew all along, well, not all along, but for a long time, who she was. He says basically from everything he says, he seems like just a true caring friend, right? He doesn't seem like, we don't see any indication of a motive, again, unless it's something that we haven't seen. Maybe he has a connection to someone in the mall bombing. Maybe he had a thing for her that she rejected. Maybe it was a professional disagreement. Maybe she was looking at a position that he wanted. Maybe, it could have been so many different things, but we don't have any evidence to any of that at this moment. Doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It just means we're not seeing it yet. Personally, I like Herman Vale as a friend to her. I don't think he's lying to us. But I could be wrong. I don't know. He could be lying. I just have a feeling about him, right? And then we've got Margaret Hale. And Margaret Hale is the only one that we have a clear connection to the bombing. We have a clear motive. Almost feels too easy, right? It almost feels like, okay, but that doesn't mean she did anything. Maybe she didn't know. Or maybe she did know, but she didn't really blame Vanessa. Maybe she was one of those who didn't blame Crosspoint for what happened. I don't know. We do know that she's been very protective of B, and which could be a lot of different things. She's the school counselor, so it could just be that in her role as the school counselor, she's going to be protective of the students, right? but it could also be something else. What do you guys think about that? Are you suspicious at all about her motives for that protection, or do you just think that it was a um, normal thing because she was the school counselor? I mean, I don't know. Um, okay, I super love that. I'm leaving this page for writing, but I may add something along this side like I have been here. I can do some writing here, and then I've got that pocket. So now I want to put in where she found the body. So, hmm. So anyway, I would be interested in your theories about that. I do think that we need to consider what the heck the deal is with B. Is B just an innocent student who happened to find a note, or I mean, an article that was interesting to her because she thought it looked like Dr. Hammond, and she didn't actually know? Or does B have some motive for the murder? Maybe B lost someone in the bombing. We have never heard anything about B's parents. Where are they? Also, maybe B is just someone who is very, very ethical minded, and she um, was angry about. Do I want to? I was thinking about tipping that in so I could flip it back and I could have like all of this journaling space. But am I really going to do all that journaling? I mean, I want to put some stuff in like about like I want to tell about the first week, and I'm going to put in like my notes and stuff from the first week. Um, I think let's see, which way does it go? Yeah. Um, sorry, I'm sidetracked. So, what do y'all think? What do y'all think about B? We don't really have anything on B other than um, she was uh, the one who found the article and left that and that note on Dr. Hammond's desk. And here's my question is like, if it was her, why write the note in the first place? And if it was her, who shredded the note? Do you guys think Dr. Hammond shredded it? Because if she did, that would make sense because she didn't want any, like anything lingering about her past for other people to find. However, then what happened to Dr. Vale's note? Or did she just not see that as a danger at all because all it said was be careful, right? I don't know. But even so, if that was the case, then where is it, right? And I have a thought. I want to see what you guys think about this because let's say that Dr. Hammond went into her office and she said she saw the note from B, right? And she saw the note from Dr. Vale, but I don't really see that playing in this scenario that I'm going to give you. What if she saw that and she saw B as a danger because B might know something? Well, what if she then tried to kill B or tried to attack B or confronted B and was aggressive and B responded in self-defense and hit her with that plaque? What if that happened? And then Margaret Vale is there trying, or Margaret Hale is there trying to protect B because it was an accident, right? It was a self-defense accident. What if that were the case? Do you guys think that's a possibility? I mean, what do you think? Tell me what your thoughts are about this, because I'm very curious. No, shoot, don't go flying everywhere, papers. I was trying to see if there was anything else I wanted to put on. Okay, so this is kind of like my week one here. I was thinking about putting something like on the back here, but I'm going to print something for it because I don't actually have anything right now that I want to put back there. So I don't necessarily love how that's kind of, I might go back and put some washi. I don't know yet. I don't know yet. But I'm kind of liking the way this one's coming together. So we've got, Blackwood Academy, then we've got P. Ashcroft, and then we've got, my filing cabinet and kind of the Academy and Dr. Hammond. And then we've got this, which is just more, scene stuff and some space to journal. And then we've got Claire Donnelly. It's kind of dirty or smudged or something, not dirty. And then there's Claire again, and we've got her name there. And then we've got her finding the body. Oh, that's what we need. Da-dum-dum-dum. We need one of him. Anyway, and so I don't know. There's just one theory that occurred to me about, like the role that B plays in it and potentially what it could mean, right? It just occurs to me that that's a possibility, or I'm sorry, the role that, that B plays in it. If B were the murderer, that's kind of the only way I can see that happening. Now, I could be wrong. What if B lost her family in the bombing? What if B was just an extremely ethical person who found what Dr. Hammond did in recreating herself as an ethics professor to be offensive and wanted to teach her a lesson? I don't think either way that she probably would have went in there intending to kill Dr. Hammond. But I don't know. I mean, 17-year-olds kill people sometimes. So just because she's young and innocent looking does not mean that she is innocent, right? So what are y'all's thoughts on that? Now let's theorize a little bit about how other people might have done it. So let's just go back to the beginning. We've got Claire Donnelly. How would that have happened? So Claire went from the blood drive to I forgot, I printed a blood drive image for this. I forgot it, or I didn't print it, I made it. I forgot to print it. I'll have to add it later. So, she said, she was trying to get a hold of Dr. Hammond at the blood drive because Dr. Hammond didn't show up, right? Blah, blah, blah. She goes there, she finds her dead. So, Claire, what if, like, Vanessa was somehow connected to the Silas case? What if, say, um, Silas's murderer was somebody that they helped? Although that doesn't make sense because Claire hasn't been there as long as Vanessa, and at Blackwood as long as Vanessa, and Claire was hired pretty soon after Silas's death. So that wouldn't really make sense because by that point, Cross Point would have already been shut down. But what if Silas's murderer was someone that Cross Point had helped get released before? And what if they then came and killed Silas? And now, all of a sudden, we have a motive for Claire. Because not only would this person have killed Claire's fiance, but also been the cause of her great suffering while people were blaming her for the murder. Then all of a sudden we have a whole different story going on, right? Because now Claire has a motive, opportunity, and a lot of anger and revenge feelings, right? So that's a theory as well. What do you guys think about that? Then we've got I guess Andrew Bell would be or no, let's go Eleanor Whitmore next. I cannot figure out the motive for Eleanor Whitmore because she knew who Vanessa was. So it's not going to be related to, I think I already talked about this. The only thing I can see as a motive for her is if she found those notes, realized that someone was figuring out who Vanessa was, and saw it as a danger to the academy and decided to get rid of her so that it would not be exposed. So that would have meant, that she acted. Yeah. Pardon me. That she acted out of concern for the academy rather than any kind of personal vengeance or anger or whatever. I don't know. What do y'all think about that one? Is that something you can see happening? I mean, I can definitely see it happening, especially if she didn't want people to know that or to find out that she knew and that she hired her anyway, because then her own ethics might be called into question, right? So I can see where she might be a little bit concerned about that and not want anyone to find out. I'm just going to cut right through his leg here. And I'm going to go in here. Once I glue him down, you'll never be able to tell that I cut through his leg. Because I can definitely see that. And then we've got Andrew Bell. And again, as I said earlier, I can't really see much of a motive for Andrew unless he also lost someone in the bombing or was romantically interested in Vanessa and was rejected, right? But let's suppose for a minute that Andrew had a connection to one of the other characters, and his role was he killed Vanessa to protect one of the other characters. So perhaps he was deeply connected to Margaret, And he found out who Vanessa was, knew that she was someone he could blame for Margaret's tragedy, and he decided to do away with her um, for Margaret, out of love for Margaret. Or maybe the same thing with B, or maybe he was protecting Eleanor Whitmore from people finding out that she hired her. I mean, there's a billion different possibilities where that's concerned. I like him right there. Um, but I could see him as, in the role of he killed to protect somebody he loved, or to protect the academy that he loved, right? Same as Dr. Whitmore, or Headmistress Whitmore. That could be his motive. Okay. That's a possible theory, right? Then we go to, does that just leave Margaret? I did all the others. Let's see. Yeah, Margaret Hale. So, and she's the only one we know of with a clear motive. So there's not much to theorize there. She finds out that this is Vivian Cross. She's traumatized all over again. She decides to do away with her. Or maybe she doesn't decide. Maybe it's one of those um, moments of passion, you know? Like she's just so overwhelmed by who this person is that she just reacts. That's an extremely understandable situation, right? Okay, I'm loving my week one, guys. So I think I've got everything in there that would be. I might put like a telephone or something to show where Claire made the call to Headmistress Whitmore. But really, these were the things that we saw in week one. I think I got everything. I super love the way it's turning out. Um, oh, we didn't talk about Herman Vale. I mean, we did briefly, but like we didn't theorize about him at all. Um, what if Herman was in love with Dr. Hammond and she rejected him? And so then he saw B's note and he did something like um, thought that if he could protect her, maybe she would love him back, right? And when she didn't, when she rejected him again, um, after finding his note that said, be careful, he reacted out of passion and killed her. I mean, that's a possibility. So that's a possible theory. I don't like it. I still think that he's the good guy, maybe the only good guy in the whole situation. But I do see Herman Vale as the good guy, right? I don't know. What do y'all think? Tell me. I would really, really love to hear your theories in this situation, right? Okay, guys, I think that's going to do it for me. I've still got a lot of stuff to put in there, but I've kept y'all long enough, and I've kind of run out of things to say. I would really love to see what your theories are. I would love it if you guys would start posting those. And yeah, I will see you on Monday. Thanks so much for watching. Talk to you later.